on the Tactical Gaming stream today. Yep, all looks good. Excellent. So, the outline for today. Normally my coaching sessions are between 1 and 2 hours, depending on how long you want or need. I can provide coaching on any heroes that you are looking for coaching on. I specialize in tanks and supports, but can provide DPS coaching up until Masters level. Essentially, it's your time to get the value out of it that you wish for. So did you tune into a couple of the previous coaching sessions?
I did about 2 of them, I think.
Okay. So you have oh, that was the wrong thing to randomly link you. So yeah, you have a general idea of the structure and how they're done. Essentially, I'll start off with 2 quick play games spectating you, just to get an idea of where we're starting. And I tend to take quite a lot of notes during my sessions as well, and that just gives me an idea of where our starting point is. From there, I will sort of think about the main coaching points to give you, and then we'll go between me spectating your games, me maybe showing you particular things in custom games. I might be using Stat Banana or maybe other external resources as well, just to show you particular things I'm speaking about. And I might also have you spectate some of my games as well, so you can see the difference. So, to start us off, what roles and heroes are you looking for coaching on today?
Mainly DPS. I might play some tank as well.
Okay, so which DPS characters do you tend to play?
Usually Genji, Hanzo, and Widow, I would say. Junkrat sometimes as well.
Okay. And what is it that draws you to these particular characters?
I like characters with skill, aim, positioning, etc.
So, one of the things I do recommend to people always is about hero pools. So, I noticed you've got Widow in there. Have you tried picking up McCree or Soldier?
Sure. Oh yeah, I forgot about McCree. He's one of the heroes that I played.
Yeah, McCree's in
play
a
Soldier
pretty
a lot,
strong.
though.
Soldier and McCree are worth picking up. What I find with Widowmaker is you either have a lot of impact or no impact, whereas McCree and Soldier tend to be a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
So I might recommend, as what I'll be looking at as well is context, which heroes you're picking in which context, and I can give you advice on picking heroes.
Cool.
So that's in DPS. Are there any particular areas that you're looking at? Is it positioning, ability usage, game sense, ult tracking? What particular areas are you wanting me to look at today?
Not really any in particular. Haven't really thought of that.
Okay.
Just mainly stuff that you might see.
Yep. So I'll just give you coaching on everything. I've had people in the past who have said, I don't really tend to communicate much, so not looking for any advice on communication. That's more relevant to VOD reviews. Or people that I very specifically want advice on positioning. So I will give you advice on everything. Excellent. So you can start off by queuing for a quick play game, and then I shall jump in and spectate.
Yep.
I tend to provide a bit of in-game feedback, and then I'll give you some additional feedback at the end of the game. What were you going to say, sorry?
Usually in my quick play games, there's mostly a full team of DPS players.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis.
So 3 DPS can be fine, especially in quick play.
Yeah, sure.
What I can also do is, if after today you also want to record some gameplay in competitive games, then I can do a VOD review for you as well at a future stream.
Sure.
Hey.
I think as well, if you're mainly solo queuing, you're going to be coming up with situations where
Attack commences.
you're not going to have ideal team comps. If you're playing in a 6, or if you're in a particular community like I am, where you can play in 6 stacks of teams, then you can very much decide, right, we're going to have 2-2-2, or we're going to have 3 tanks, 1 DPS, 2 supports, for example. So a thing to also look at that I'm going to be looking at today is sort of how well you're working with what you're given in the game.
2, 1.
Yep.
Attack.
Yeah, what you said there, I usually play with 6 stacks. Since I am in one of these communities, actually.
So for the first minute or two, I'm just going to be observing, just to get an idea of general things.
Yep.
I will not waste this chance.
Securing the objective. Anyone want to
Enemy returns. I am repaired. My ultimate is ready.
Do you know what sensitivity and DPI you play with?
Sensitivity, I can check.
Mm-hmm.
DPI, I'm not sure actually. I haven't checked that in. A while. Okay. Let's see, I play with 5.38 sensitivity.
It's very, very specific.
Yeah, it's just I kind of randomly just chose something, and then I just was stuck to it for a bit. I did change it up from very high, like 8.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I'm noticing is your sense looks a bit too high. Well, yeah. I'm going to guess that you're on 1600 DPI.
Probably. I might be able to check that. I have this app for my mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
But I do have the default settings for it. I kind of went with the plug and play. And then I've just been changing up the sense in game.
What you'll find is it's absolutely worth the time just to find the right sensitivity for you, and you'll find that it's a lot more comfortable, just enjoyable.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've been trying to do. was a pretty good starting game.
So, yeah, the first thing I picked up on there was the sensitivity. I think I'm definitely going to recommend that you lower it. Now, there is no one size fits all when it comes to sensitivity. It's just taking the time to try a few different ones. It's worth going into practice range, essentially, and just running some drills.
Yeah.
So, I can show you. I'll show a few of those to you sort of after the second game. I'll show you that on stream, the drills to do.
Do you want me to check the...
Yep, so we can take the time to check the sensitivity between this game and the next.
Let's see. So I have it on 1200 DPI. It looks like, yeah.
Okay, so 1200, 5.38, that gives you an eDPI of 6456. Okay, so what I would recommend is okay, you pick a DPI based on what's comfortable for general, Windows browsing, because that will affect how sensitive your mouse is outside of Overwatch. You can then adjust your sensitivity to fix. So I would recommend that you start with a sensitivity that's likely way too low, with something like 2, 3, 4, and 5. And
Okay.
when I show you the drills later on, you can do the drills with sensitivity 2, 3, 4, and 5. If one is just dreadful, which will probably be 2, that'd be probably way too low for you, feel way too heavy. You can then just absolutely cross that one off. After you've sort of gone, okay, well 3, 4, and 5 is okay, you'll then jump into quick play game for each. And you'll try one game at 3, one game at 4, one game at 5. Just get a general feel in game. And they'll feel quite different. And you can then come out and again get a better idea. Personally, I use is it 1800? 800 or 1600? I've switched between it too many times. Let me just double check. So I use, if it will load, I have... that one, isn't it? Yep, I use 1600 DPI, and I have a 3.5 sensitivity. So that comes to 5600 eDPI. Most people have between 4000 and 6000 or so. But anyway, there's no one size fits all with that. So that's the first thing. The next few things I noticed were before Blade, ideally you want to dash into the air, have a look around at where the targets are, then when you use Blade it resets your dash, and you can dash towards the target. Additionally, something you also need to get better at is dashing towards the first target, using Blade, then dashing towards the second target and using Blade, and keeping track of where the target is.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that. I've noticed myself every time I use Blade.
Yeah, so I can, in the custom game later, after your second game, I will show you just with bots how sort of to go about improving that. And yeah, Blade awareness was the other thing. And dashing into the ground is something you can do. I noticed that sometimes you would dash through a target and you dash past the target.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. So we'll jump into the second game and I will continue to take notes.
Do you want me to try the sensitivity thing?
Yeah, actually, you can try 4 sensitivity for this next game and see how that feels.
Okay. Sure. That's quick.
Traveling to Mumbai.
Heal up.
Oh, this is already started. Barely. does feel slower. Yep, that's different.
Yeah, so your mouse should almost feel heavier, like your aim feels heavier.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does a lot.
But it should also feel a bit more controlled.
Kind of. Sure. Doesn't feel as twitchy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big thing is, if someone's aim is sort of very much twitching a lot, that's a big giveaway that their sensitivity is too high.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, stay behind the shield, use natural cover.
That was unexpected.
Always assume that the enemies will land every shot.
Yeah.
That's always a good approach to take in terms of thinking about your positioning. Assume everyone is a top 500 smurf, especially McCree's widows and soldiers.
Yeah.
You find that sometimes you're playing safer than you need to because they're not actually that good. But it also gets you into good habits. So suddenly you'll be dying less, have much more uptime, winning more games. And then when you climb to a higher elo, that was a nice deflect. When you climb to a higher elo, you'll already be in the good habits and won't have to then start from scratch and relearn. So you want to get out here alive because you can now go for a free blade. You can go for a free blade here.
Oh, I don't think I need it.
Yeah. It looks like your Winston decided to use his ult instead.
Yeah. The monkey was gonna keep him there.
Remember, go towards your healers if you need healing, and don't be afraid to press X a few times.
Yep. I did just that.
Excellent.
Did my aim just improve when I fought that soldier?
So in general, your job isn't really dealing with Wrecking Ball. You know, you have a Bastion on your team, and he's going to struggle to solo take out targets.
That was my bad. I wasn't. I kind of spun the wrong way.
Yeah, so you did a random 360.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened there.
30 seconds remaining.
Get in there.
Overall, that was pretty good. Obviously, the blades can definitely do with improving.
Yeah. Kind of wanted an opportunity where they would push on the point and I could use blade there.
This is where your Ana nanoed your Bastion, I think.
Yeah, I was dead here. I just saw this in the kill feed.
So that lower sensitivity, that obviously must have felt very different, but do you feel like you had a bit more control there?
Yeah, sure.